everybody. Hope you're all well. Welcome in here. Everybody doing okay? So, who have we got in here? Is everybody okay? Like the live, everybody? Hello, if you're watching. Alright. Yeah, what's up, people? Thank you for the like, whoever that is. So I was just messing around with that bike before. Hello, Sal Sprub Bulker. How you doing? Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Hope you're all doing well today, everybody. Hello, is me Riri. Thank you for the like. How are you today? Welcome in. So just yeah, keep the chat flowing, everybody. Hello, XPMeW. Nah, no, I'm good. Hi, INFJ, how you doing? Oh, oh yeah, yeah, I did that to you. Yeah, I've been doing all the workout stuff. Alright, Pedro, how you doing? Hello, Frankie. Yeah, been doing a lot of mini stuff. I've actually just been trying out the new bike because I was struggling with it before because it's a hand and like an arm and a leg bike, so it's a bit hard to get used to. But hello, Louis Royden, how you doing? Hope you're all well today. So I've just started to get the hang of it. So I've been thinking about what I'm gonna do with that really, because it's a bike that hardly anybody kind of rides. So hello, me Libra. Maybe I found myself a niche. I don't know. I'm alright, thank you, Louis. Maybe I found myself a niche, eh? Who knows? Because I don't see anyone else riding that kind of bike. I mean, they are a bit hard to get used to, but they're meant to be a bit faster once you get used to them, because you're using some of your upper body to like kind of help you as well. Because it's got two different like pedaling systems, so it's like, but it's just a case of trying to get used to that. Hello, Yanti. I live in York, England. Gillian, nice to meet you anyway. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, share the live out if you can, and that would be really appreciated. So yeah, INFJ, are you still there? Thank you, Gucci. Yeah, hello, Beans. Beans. T-Fierce says, okay, yeah, so it's got like they reckon it can go about 30% faster than a regular bike. I don't know how true that is, but But yeah, York's nice and all that, but I'm thinking about taking it out at some point and going on adventures with it. Just it is a bit of a tricky one to get used to, so you want to try and just use it with like feet only first, and then kind of just start to incorporate the arms into it. But it could potentially give you some extra boost up the hills and stuff. So it just, and you know, if you want to go on sprints, you could go faster and stuff with it. Hello, Sean895, how you doing? Because the thing with regular bikes, it's more of a leg workout, but it doesn't really do much for your upper body. So yeah, the new one that I got, it's got this like chest pad on it, so you like lean forwards on it, and it contacts the chest. So what you're doing is you're cycling with your upper body and lower body, which might sound a little bit confusing. And yeah, legs are much stronger than arms. Yeah, yeah. There's not much I can do about that, guys. Yeah, that's the bike. It is a bike, but it's a different kind of bike. But you do get some extra power by using both your upper and lower body. But yeah, it is true that your legs are a lot more powerful than your upper body, because they're much bigger muscle groups, aren't they? It's like, for example, you could, you know, say squat much heavier than you could say bench press, for example. Like, so that kind of proves the point that, you know, it's although Jolene, or the same with deadlifts as well, because that's mostly a lower body exercise as well. Anita, how you doing? What you on about? Thank you. Okay, what the hell? Just get out of here with the weird comments there. But yeah, but yeah, that is true. That I just remember there was somebody who used to ride a bike, like a recumbent bike, with just their hands, because they're like disabled. They had like cerebral palsy or something. So it was like a special bike that was made just for them. Hello, Jade. How you doing today? I hope you're well. Hello, Jen. Welcome, and everybody. So, like, what's this? You still use upper body muscles for stability and cycling. Yeah, but it's not used in actual like power generation, really, is it? It's it kind of feels redundant in that sense. So it feels like you're kind of just wasting your kind of, I don't know, upper body muscles when you're doing like a regular bike or something. But oh, sorry to hear about that, Jade. Yeah. Hope you're all right. Hello, Pamela. That sounds shit. Hello, Divya God Wani. Hello, Letty82. So so I was looking into something on like why are we actually conscious in the first place and all that kind of thing. Like, why does any organism become conscious? Is there really any advantage to it? I was looking into, and there's actually some arguments that it might actually be a negative in terms of it being this heavy energy that it's yeah, but there's arguably some advantages, but then from some perspectives that consciousness is fundamental to reality, and therefore nothing would have any meaning without it. It's like a philosophy, really. But anyway, I need to. Can we just stop with the weird comments? Come on, guys. Just got back from hospital as well. Inpatient at an ED treatment center. Oh, ED. Okay. Yeah. Congrats. Can we just like stop with the nonsense, please? Hi, Veronica. Good to see you. How are you today? Hope you're well. Yeah. Thank you for following, Rena. You're welcome, Pig. So what's this? Oh shit! I banned the wrong person. Oh, for fuck's sake. Shit. Hang on a sec. Is that right? Which did I ban T-Fear? Or are you just trying to Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. This is the problem when I'm trying to. Bear with me a second. It's hard to kind of do it sometimes when I'm just using my phone. Yeah, I was just trying to ban somebody and then I banned the wrong person. It was a timeout or something. So it wasn't a ban, it was a timeout. So I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. But yeah, I was just talking about like the fundamentals of reality and stuff. So hello, rootin' tootin'. Okay. Had bread on toast. What the hell? What is it with these comments there? Just random comments. So, there was this thing I was looking into on that thing called quantum eraser. Have you looked into that? Should I join the local bike shops group's bicycle ride today? The ride is mostly old men who ride slowly. I mean, that's up to you, isn't it? I'll see you later, Ankit. But Flora, thank you for the likes. How are you today? Yeah, it's up to you if you want to just kind of have a, slow ride, or if you want to just, I don't know, it's up to you, isn't it, really? But, decide what you want to do, really. But anyway, so let's just, what was I talking about? So yeah, quantum eraser and all that. This idea that the past is not a fixed thing or something. And hello, Sham. You can reverse a 24-hour timeout by going back to the comment and pressing 10-second timeout. Oh, can you? I did not know that, but thank you for the advice. So let me just sort that out real quick. I was just trying to get rid of somebody else, but unfortunately I got the wrong person instead. Like friendly fire or something, whatever they call it. Put user in timeout. So I'll do 10 seconds. Hopefully that'll work then. Hi, Andrea. yeah, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, there was, is the past immutable or does the present create the past? Well, this is what I was talking about. I was watching some video last night. It was quite fascinating on, what was it called? I can't remember what the actual thing was called. There was a name for it, but it was basically, what deep philosophical question are we pondering today then? So is this thing about the past being, whether the past is determined by our current action? Because there was this experiment done called let me find it. It was called the Wheeler's Delayed Choice Experiment. Yeah, we're nearly at 5K. I don't know what I'm doing for 5K, but just starting my drive from Canada to Florida. What are you doing in Florida, Andrea? I hope you have a good time, eh? I would love to make you a host for a nice, delicious herd doll. What the hell? Doll boy, I'm doing fine, thank you. How you doing? So yeah, I do a lot for 5K. What, you are on 5K, are you? Hello, Rand Colton. What are you saying? Oh, really? Leo, welcome in. Nice to meet you. How are you doing today? So, yeah, so Wheeler's Delayed Choice Experiment. So this is what it says. So, right, let me just have a look at this. So, gonna go visit live streamers Brady Beats and Token Girl. Oh, have a great time there, eh? Yeah, I have to always do the Canadian accent, or try to do the Canadian accent anyway when I'm doing that, but tongue twisters, oh yeah, like red lorry, yellow lorry. If you say it fast enough, you can get confused. Hello, Jess Colonel. How you doing? No, I'm not a religious person myself. I'm kind of becoming more spiritually leaning, but not like religious. In a sense, I'm more a philosophical person with like kind of an open mind and yeah, a free thinking person who, yeah, I'm not really someone that's put into a box. So anyway, I'm from the UK, Taika. Where are you from? Nice to meet you. So, Wheeler's delayed choice experiment is a quantum physics thought experiment, later experimentally validated, showing that the decision to measure a particle's path, particle behavior, or its interference pattern, wave behavior, after it has passed through a device, still determines its behavior. It demonstrates that quantum objects behave as waves or particles depending on measurement, challenging classical notions of causality and time. So, yeah, so that's the Wheeler's delayed choice experiment. Hello, drunk Lily. Okay, thank you, Divya. What's this? Why are so many religious people on YouTube shorts? Well, because they're trying to, like, push their views a lot of the time. Hello, Melly. How you doing? Yeah. I don't know why this person needed to kind of announce it to everybody. I don't know, like, what the whole point is, like. It's like, let me speak for myself, you know? If I want to, like, talk about that, then I will. You know? Why are they trying to, like, oh, he's got autism, it's like, fuck off, you know? I didn't ask you to tell everybody about it, did I? I don't believe in the biblical God. The thing is that we have to actually agree on what we actually mean by God, because everyone's got their own interpretations of God. I don't believe in it in a biblical or Quran kind of sense. But anyway, the past being dictated by the present sounds like fate, right? I mean, possibly, but that's just what the about the Wheeler's delayed choice experiment or something, and yeah, they're trying to piss me off, aren't they? Yeah, I don't know. But let's just ignore it. World is upside down. A big kid is running the free world. Yeah. That's Prata. How are you today? That's the thing, innit?
We're going to go and get some oil from Iran. It would be so great. They got lots of oil. They got more oil than a homeless person's hair. Oh, thank you, Shannon. You're such a great person.
What's that? You two think about like a video game console. The console is creating the world, and quantum physics is like the line between a console that generates the world and the polygons. Well, I'd argue that consciousness is what actually brings about the world. Thank you for the follow, Apio. Whether you believe in, say, like, many worlds interpretation or whatever, but it's like, I would argue that fundamentally consciousness must exist in order for a world or a universe to exist in the first place. But that's my own kind of thoughts on it all. And my idea is that collective consciousness is God, not some kind of external deity. That, that there's this kind of like unified, maybe there's some kind of unified consciousness. They talk about, like, in quantum entanglement, that we're all connected, and that there's this illusion of separation, and there's this idea that space and time are actually just like mental constructs. And that sounds like a crazy notion, but there does seem to be some evidence, like when we talk about the spooky action at a distance stuff, and how when something happens at one point in space, and then suddenly something else happens at a different point in space. That this idea that, you know, it's that, you know, basically that the distance is an illusion, is what I'm saying. That because they said that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light, so therefore there must be some link between those things. So anyway, that's what it. I mean, I'm not really explaining it the best, but yeah, Stormer, yeah. Is that what you're talking about? Because your consciousness exists like everything else in this realm. It's the NPC dies at the video game, he's gone, and can be created in our world is the same best example as cloning and twins. I don't know. There's this whole thing about, like, people talking about we can just recreate our consciousness in a computer game, or not computer, in a computer simulation or whatever, like upload our consciousness into a computer. I just don't really agree with that kind of stuff personally, but okay, Ben King. What does that even mean? Like, I mean, there is actually guys who are on steroids that are smaller than me, and then there's, you know, natural guys who look like they're on gear. So it's like, someone doesn't necessarily look natty necessarily. It's become very difficult to even tell nowadays. Like, you've got someone like Clavicular who literally takes a bunch of substances, but yet he's probably smaller than me. So yeah, hello Mary. If we were able to view 14 billion year old light, how did we get this far away from the center before the light could reach us 14 billion years later? It makes no sense if light is the fastest thing. I'll have to think about that. Hang on a sec, you were just that person before that I just got rid of, so like, people aren't just going to come back with multiple accounts. I think that's called the ERP paradox, isn't it? I've heard a rebuttal to that with an analogy. Suppose you have one red marble and one blue marble in your hand. You throw one marble away, but you don't know which one, but when you look at the red marble in your hand, you know you've thrown the blue one. Isn't that like the whole kind of double slit experiment kind of thing? Is that what you're talking about? Sorry, I can't, Keisha. Kiki, thank you for the follow. I don't know what you mean with that one, but hello, Tabira. No, I'm not. Hello, CG Boundary, what's that? I do work out a lot. What you on about? Just go away then. Like, yeah, these people probably wouldn't stand next to me and let me humble them with... I'm probably twice their size, you know? They try and come in and be negative and all that, and I do work out all the time, so, yeah. Chris Hemsworth. Alright, being big doesn't mean you can fight. Yeah. I mean, if you can fight, then being big can be an advantage when it comes to, like, say, a street fight, I would argue. You could argue when it comes to, like, endurance, you might have less of that. You might get tired more easily. But if you were to say, like, have some scrawny guy versus, like, a bigger guy, and both of them had a fairly equal level of fighting ability, I reckon that the bigger guy is probably going to win more often than not. Double slit experiment shows that photons and particles sent through an accelerator behave like waves when no observer is present and behave like particles when observed. But you could say, well, if the observer is dependent, then what what even is a wave when it's not being observed? You know, because a wave is something that you have to be conscious to even have a concept of. This is where it kind of gets a little bit kind of tricky. I don't know. But there's this thing called the many worlds interpretation where they say that you don't actually collapse the wave function or something, and it's just that you are moving into one particular universe or something like that. That kind of like think about it as like going into different TV channels and stuff like that. And I love Blade, so like, what's that? You can get dropped by someone half your size with fighting experience. Yeah, of course. But like, if you're big and have fighting experience, then you're probably gonna be a force to be reckoned with. So I don't know. It almost seems like a cult that some people use to try and kind of feel good about being skinny and all that. To feel, oh well, you know, muscles don't help you in a fight or something. But it's like, I feel like sometimes people say that to kind of, I mean, I get what they're saying. If you don't have the fighting experience, it's not really going to help you much. But like, having a more, I mean, obviously having too much muscle or too much size in general is not good, but having a balance of like strength and power and stamina is probably the best combination, really. But anyway. Yeah, definitely. What's this? Jan, if everything was taken out of space in the universe and we were left to drift in the void, would that be the same as death itself? I mean, we couldn't be in a void, could we? I would have thought, because we would need sustenance, wouldn't we? Like, if we didn't have any way to sustain ourselves, then we would just die, or at least in this body anyway. The wave shows different patterns on the background screen than particles. Well, that's what it's showing from the observer's point of view, but some say they're just probability waves rather than actual thing. But it's just different interpretations, like I said, with the because there was the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, which yeah. Let's see what we're saying there, which then led to the many worlds interpretation. Size and strength can only go so far in a fight. Take Royce Gracie versus Dan Severn in an early UFC fight before weight classes. The 180-pound Gracie defeated the trained wrestler Severn, who was much bigger, about 260 pounds. Were they both having the same like fighting experience? I mean, why would there even be weight classes if weight wasn't a factor or something? I mean, I don't know. It's like you would think that, you know, obviously if, you know, that would indicate that bigger people are going to be a lot stronger, and, you know, on average. No, I don't believe in flat Earth now. No, it's like time is computation. The laws of physics derive from reliable sequences of events creating ratios. That's why physics is all balanced equations. Not sure I agree. I think the way I'm thinking of it now is that time may actually just be a construct of the mind and not have any sort of external reality. In biocentrism, that's what it talks about, that the that consciousness actually creates time and space. Because when we see things happen, they're actually only within the mind. We can't see through the cranium. What we're seeing is actually within the mind itself. Today, professional MMA fighters know how to avoid submissions used in jiu-jitsu. Oh, really? At least better than at the start of UFC. I don't really know too much about that, so I have to take your word for that. But sequences, that's computation. I mean, maybe those sequences are based on a kind of collective, you know, kind of like field, if you will, consciousness, collective consciousness field. That's where all the laws of physics come from, that there's this kind of objective reality in that sense. Hello Sonam, how you doing? Imagine an NPC from a video game world gaining consciousness and try to figure out how the world works. He built a microscope and observes polygons. How far can he go to understand? God knows. Hope everyone's well anyway. Keep the chat flowing and share the live. I'm doing fine, thank you, Sonam. Nice to meet you. Where are you from, by the way, anyway? If you're new here, everybody hit that like button, subscribe. Hello, Maureen, how are you doing today? I hope you're well. Hello, Marianne Ravanso. Nice to meet you, Sonam from Bhutan. Oh, yeah, cool. Thank you for the likes, everybody. So yeah, like, it's just a real mind F, isn't it? The getting into the whole thing of, you know, how are we conscious in this body and all that kind of thing. Hello, Richard. Thank you for joining me. Nice to meet you from Massachusetts. Yeah. If order of sequence was not reliable, the universe would be noise. It's the order of sequence is that create balance. Maybe it's consciousness that create the order of sequence or something. I don't really know, but well, yeah, that's the thing with NPCs, that they're supposed to have no soul, right? But they're just like, some call them like inorganic portals or something. Hello, Lucy, how you doing? I hope you're well. It depends what you want to believe, really, I suppose. But hello, Sydney, g'day, mate. Put another shrimp on the barbie. Yeah, so consciousness is kind of how I'm seeing it now, as a fundamental part of reality rather than a byproduct of material. So yeah, like for example, like the color red, like, or whatever colors, like the brightness of light doesn't actually exist out there in the world. It exists in the mind. So yeah, so it might be some kind of computed whatever, like you were saying. I mean, it's some kind of order. Amber, I don't know Amber. Who's Amber? Hello, wisdom. Wore a hat backwards, I don't know. Like the kind of baseball cap, you mean, whatever they call it. Maureen says, what is it, boring or something, or what? I mean, I don't know. Like, Yanti, thank you for the likes. How are you doing today? I hope you're well. Keep the chat flowing, everybody. Do the talk, I don't know. Well, another thing, TGE universe doesn't experience time like we do. In regions of space, it doesn't endure time at all, but the galaxy's space is distorted and creates entanglements. I could argue that the consciousness creates entanglement or something. Oh, really, I don't know who that is, Lucy. Hello, I guess TC. How are you doing? Lumen's brightness can be measured and explained to a blind person, but a blind person will never experience brightness, even if he or she understands the concept. How would they even understand the concept if they're born blind or something? you could argue that, I suppose, but you couldn't explain certain things like the color blue. You couldn't explain what that feels like. You know, you can't explain what this is, the qualia thing, isn't it? Like, you couldn't explain what, let's say someone had no taste, they couldn't explain what sweet and sour or whatever tastes like, you know. Like there would just be like yeah, or you wouldn't be able to explain what, you know, sound feels like to a deaf person, or someone's born deaf, I'm talking, not someone who's had that concept before. So who's to say there isn't other senses that we can't conceive of? Well, I think they've found that there probably is, but it's like we're only experiencing a small amount of the electromagnetic spectrum, is what they say. So, but anyway, I think space stretches and contracts. The motions create vortices in space. These vortices become black holes. Those black holes cause matter to emerge from the fabric of space itself. I'd say it emerges from the mind, but that's a whole rabbit hole, really. But you see, I'm kind of like on a different kind of thought thing on in terms of Mace. What's this? The one who owns water owns everything. Water comes from the sky, then creatures of clay benefit from it. Animals and humans and plants need water and food. The one who owns water owns the sky and earth. God exists. I mean, then I would argue, why did God create us to need food in the first place? You know, this is kind of the thing where I would argue with religious people on, like, in terms of why would God create all these conditions where if we go more than 3 minutes, let's just say, like, for example, 3 minutes without breathing, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, for example, like, what kind of God would create such a thing? Oh, Tracy, how you doing? I hope you're well. Oh, really? Well, that's too bad then. They could say the colour blue is a wavelength on the electromagnetic spectrum. You could explain that brightness is what allows those with sight to detect objects at a distance. But you couldn't explain how that actually feels. You could say, well, it's a way of detecting objects at a distance, but you couldn't explain what the subjective experience of that feels like. I would argue, but anyway. Imagine a damp rag. If you twist the rag, water emerges on the surface of the rag. This is the matter emerging from the fabric of space around the black hole. Oh, really? Colina says you can't actually, on about, like, yeah, this is qualia, they call it, the subjective experience of the observer. I mean, for all we know, that each person's different. Each person can have a different version of blue. Like, we wouldn't know, would we? Hello, Cherry, how you doing? I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me. So, like, how would we know that each person experiences? Because, like, for example, they would say, like, say a tropical bird would, let's say, if they came into our climate or something, then they would feel cold, even though in our climate we feel hot, or not what, if it was in their climate we'd feel hot. So it's like, I mean, it's so that shows that there's some subjective differences depending on our chemistry or whatever and biology, and that potentially we could have a different chemistry that would allow us to see colors differently or something. Thank you for the follow, Rai Christ. I can't even prove you're real outside my own head. Well, I could say the same as well, like, what is reality really? Yeah, I know. this is what I'm saying. It's like, I'm from the UK, Leo, about you. What is reality? Is there a reality outside the mind? DNA is the code for copy, and it doesn't create something that's different each time, right? Oh yeah, Leo said Greece. Yeah, you said Greece, didn't you? Yeah. Which part of Greece are you in then? Reality is a common experience you have every day. Yeah. Or we're talking more fundamentally what it is. It's like, yeah, well, that's what we experience, but it's like, what is it though? What is it? It can't be proven that you feel the same sensation that I do when your hand touches a hot stove, but I infer that it's a similar to what I would experience. So, yeah, there's certain things, let's say, it's obviously painful, so it would suggest that in certain instances we would feel a similar thing. Probably not exactly the same. Some people have higher pain thresholds, for example, and stuff like that, but in terms of like colours and things like that, it's hard to really prove that we have the same experience. And same with like tastes and different things. I mean, you could say, well, everyone would probably experience the same thing when it's like sweet and savoury and all that kind of thing, but you could say each person might have a slightly different, because I think they've even found like that, even let's say if you start eating different foods, your perception of that, so if you start eating more healthier foods, then those healthier foods can start to taste better over time. So your perception of that can change over time. So it's not that the food changes, it's just that your perception of it changes or something. Well, there is that, Boogie, yeah. Hello, Wang Kai Yang. No, I'm not. Yeah, dreaming is a interesting one, but it's like, to me, dreaming is a way of kind of, well, it's not about getting out of reality, but rather going into a different reality is kind of how I'm seeing it. Oh, Maureen, because who's to say that this reality is any more real than a dream reality? Just because, that we wake up from a dream, but then it's like, well, who's to say that when we die, we don't just wake up from... We could say that when you're going to sleep, you're actually waking up in a dream. So it's like, well, there's different kind of perspectives on it, that what is reality? Is this reality, or is the dream reality, or are both not real, or are both real at the same time? How do you explain dreams that become true? It could be, you could say part of it could, some believe it's premonitions, or some believe it could be some kind of subconscious, like kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Like if you have a subconscious thought in your mind, that could then collapse space and time, whatever, into that reality that you then go into. So like, instead of like thinking of it as like just that of it all being completely random, or that, is it possible that, because then there's this thing called the law of assumption, where like Neville Goddard popularized that whatever reality that you believe the most in, that's the one that you end up going into. That if you believe in it truly, if you have a strong enough intention, then when is it subconsciously you didn't even know you think that, right? That's the weird thing, isn't it, with subconscious thoughts? And but we live in its dream. What's this? Okay, thank you, Malloy. Hello, Annalyn, how you doing? I hope you're well. So that's the thing, like, how would we explain like subconscious feelings and stuff? It could be like basically like as part of this reality that it's just part of the program or something that we have. Think of it as like a simulation in a sense, but not like the computer simulation that people think of, but we could have some kind of like certain programs that are like that we all collectively believe in, that it helps us to kind of with things. But yeah, like, I'll just see how they would explain it from that perspective. But to see how they explain it. Even if we do live in a simulation, it doesn't matter because I can't just quit my job because it's a simulation. Well, what if that's because you believe that you can't do that? That it's like a self-limiting belief. I'm not saying you should just do it right now. You should always have backup plans, but you have to switch to an abundance mindset with that. Favorite tea? I don't really drink tea. It's wild how my brain creates autonomous characters in my dreams. They act, speak, and surprise me as if they're real people, yet I know it's all me. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Hello, Palestine, how you doing today? So, so this thing of pre-conscious decision making or something, and we were talking about that last night, and what's this, let me just sort this out. So basically, it says, what is it, brain makes decisions on a subconscious level before the conscious self is aware of them. This suggests that the subconscious is the true seat of action and the conscious self is merely experiencing the results of these deeper processes. I'm just trying to find this out. Hi Carol, how you doing? Hope you're well. So the distinction between conscious and subconscious is less about two different things and more about levels of awareness within a single stream of consciousness. Here is why the subconscious exists in this model. Information filtering, the mind processing an infinite amount of quantum data at once. If you were consciously aware of every calculation required to construct time, space, and biological functions, your foreground awareness would be overwhelmed. The subconscious acts as an operating system running in the background, so the user, the conscious self, can focus on specific interactions. Thank you for the follows, everybody. Nice one. The logic of perception. Biocentrism suggests that space and time are the language of the mind. The subconscious is the part of consciousness that performs the heavy lifting of translating raw quantum waves into a solid-looking 3D world. You don't choose to see a tree. Your subconscious logic presents it to you as a finished product. Biological survival. From a biocentric view, the observer is a biological entity. The subconscious manages the vital functions, heartbeat, reflexes, pattern recognition that allow the observer to persist without that automated layer. The biological vessel for consciousness would fail. Hello, of course, like, how you doing today? I hope you're well. What if the unconscious isn't just a memory bank, but an autonomous force guiding the conscious self? Well, this is the thing, it's possible. It could be the universal forces, like some might say it's some universal energy that, that is like in this quantum kind of entanglement state that is the glue that binds reality together, potentially. Well, that's the kind of idea of like the kind of almost like a Spinoza God type of thing, where it's like there's this kind of unconscious God force, if you will, that is governing reality. That there are certain things that are that we don't control, but at the same time, so maybe you could argue that maybe it's something that consciousness set in motion a long time ago, and it's just a program that has persisted, potentially. Yeah, meditation I have, yeah. Yes, but not a backflip, what you're saying. Oh yeah, cartwheels look cool. I can't do any of that. Can you do any of that stuff, Clyde? Or anyway, hello, Lydell and Lydia. Hope you're doing well today, everybody. If anyone's new here, hit that subscribe button. That would be really appreciated. Yeah. So, is it something that's been set in motion a long time ago, and it's just something that consciousness just set it in motion? We've asked to find out more about that. Hello, Yanana Pasau. Did consciousness set in motion the subconscious laws? So like, but basically that logical, because time itself is a byproduct of laws. Instead, there are two sides of the same coin that exist. So talk about logic versus creation. So see what it says. So the subconscious is the spatio-temporal logic that consciousness uses to weave a coherent experience out of quantum information. It isn't something consciousness created in the past. It is the way consciousness operates in the present to make reality appear solid and orderly. The turtle and the shell. Lanza often uses the analogy that we carry space and time around with us like turtles with shells. The shell, the laws of physics and subconscious processing, is part of the biological entity itself, not an external case that was built earlier. A mindful universe, biocentrism suggests the universe's structure, including its physical constants and forces, is fine-tuned for life because it is life that defines that structure through the act of observation. The laws are simply the rules of the language the mind uses to perceive, dissolving before and after. Since time is an internal tool of animal sense perception, there was no time before consciousness where laws could have been set in motion. Any universe that existed before an observer was merely in a state of probability. Essentially, consciousness is the light, and the subconscious is the prism it shines through. The prism wasn't made by the light in a historical sense. rather, you cannot have the rainbow reality without both of them working together at once. So it's this whole idea of like you can't have one without the other, I suppose. Hello, PHMP1. How you doing? It's like you can't have the conscious without the subconscious. So it could be like a duality in nature in terms of but you could say it's all part of the same thing because the subconscious filters into the conscious or something like that. I mean, it's just information that the conscious is receiving from quantum probabilities or something, but without consciousness, quantum probabilities would not even have any meaning potentially. So that's where I'm kind of going with things, that you can't have one without the other. You can't have consciousness without a subconscious kind of network, I guess you could call it. And you can't have the subconscious without conscious, because, well, what is reality then without any sort of conscious being? Because according to quantum physics, it would just be probability waves. So yeah. Yes, I'm in England. Yeah, so technically I'm in Europe. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's just time we are now 13:38. Okay, got a little while longer to go on here. So hello, Ishant 90p. How you doing? I hope you're well today. Welcome in here. Do you think there might be life forms that we can't perceive with our five senses? Possibly. That would be hard to really kind of fathom. I mean, isn't that stuff like David Icke would talk about, stuff like that, the idea of that we can only perceive a small band of the electromagnetic spectrum, therefore is there life forms outside of that? Because I always thought about, what if there's a whole reality out there beyond the five senses? So like, yeah, is that what dark energy is? Is that something that we could actually experience, dark matter and dark energy? Is that something that, if we had other senses, could we actually experience that? Just had that thought now, actually. It's good how we can bounce ideas off each other, because then, thank you for the role sentence, because I'm like, oh, actually, maybe dark matter we could maybe see that if, potentially, who knows, like, but we don't exactly know what it all is even, but it's just all kind of like more of a probability rather than, or a possibility rather than something that's been 100% proven. So thank you for the role sensing. Thank you for follow Alk. Veronica, thank you for the likes. Or think about groundhogs. They might have a vague notion of what a human is, but the groundhogs have no idea about the complexity of human society. You know about like Groundhog Day or something? Like where it's like they just keep repeating the same life over and over or something. Hello, Ian Huntley. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope everyone's well anyway. What's everybody up to today? Yeah, I've got 26 apparently in TikTok. Hello, CJVR Gaming, how you doing? Even dogs who know much more about humans don't know about how complex civilization is. Yeah, that's the thing. So there could be something more complex than us that has more insights into things, I guess. We just won't know, will we? The thing is that human consciousness is not complex enough to understand the fundamentals of the universe, potentially. So maybe we're just wasting our time trying to figure things out. Hello, Norton Lama. Like, everyone's got their own idea, but there's no consensus. Like, the hard problem of consciousness, there's no consensus explanation as to how it even exist or something, and why. Hello Marjorie, how you doing? I hope you're well. Time is it? It's 13:41 right now in the UK. Welcome in everybody. The dog is consciousness. What do you mean a dog is consciousness? You mean that dog is conscious? You mean... What do you mean, what you're saying? I don't get what you're trying to say, but anyway. I hope you're all having a good day anyway. A dog is conscious, yeah. My day's going alright, thank you, Bring. How about you? Hope your day's going well too. Hello, Secret Society. No, I don't do gun training now. No, I don't. Anyway. Hello, Hank Tank. How are you doing today? Is a bug conscious? Probably. I was looking into a thing on like whether oysters are conscious, because there's that whole debate, because you've got say like vegans and vegetarians who there's this debate on whether bugs, or not bugs, I mean whether oysters and things like that, clams and stuff, whether they are conscious, because they say how because they don't have a central nervous system that they might not be conscious. But then on the other side you've got people saying, well, but they have animal characteristics, like they have a heart, they have certain things that animals have. So there's this ongoing debate about it. So I wonder what you guys would think about that, really. But really nothing. No, I'm good. Hello Isra, how you doing? I hope you're well. Welcome to my live. If anyone's new here, hit that subscribe button. Oh, what's going on there? What happened there? Why did my TikTok live just go off then suddenly? What the hell just happened there? What the hell? That was weird. That was weird. What the hell happened there? I'll just resume that then. I just like, it just knocked me off the thing then. Oh really? Fem burn a lot. Okay. Hello, Michelle Angeli. Hello, Angel15. How are you doing today, everybody? I hope you're all well. Best example, people with Down syndrome, they don't have normal cognitive features like us, but they are definitely conscious. Yeah. Well, some animals have different ways of seeing the world. Like some of them have different senses, for example. Some of them don't have the 5 senses that we have, or they might see different colors than we have. Some of them see things in black and white, or they might see more colors than we have. So yeah, hope everyone's well today. We've got 32 apparently on TikTok. I don't know how that's even happening, but it seems like it's being botted or something, but I don't know. May, thank you for the likes. How are you doing today? Hope you're well. But sometimes it doesn't really make sense. Like, how is it that it's saying that there's, 30 people nearly in the chat? So, hello, Ariane Z. Thank you for the follow. What are you into politics? I mean, I used to talk about politics, but I've kind of come to realize that, to me, politics is kind of almost like a distraction at this point, because the more you talk about things that you have no control over, then it just keeps us paralyzed, basically. Like the more that we talk about war and whatever's going on in Iran or whatever, it's like, well, I kind of feel like it's just keeping us from actually doing something with our life. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with all that at this point. I just don't really want to talk about these things anymore, because I just feel like it's all... but then again, you could say, well, what's the point in talking about consciousness and stuff like that? I just find it fun to kind of explore ideas like stuff. I don't want to focus on all this bullshit going on in the world. Hello, Lils. Oh, really? What you mean, Prianon? I don't know what you mean. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good day so far. Politics seems like smoke and mirrors to me. I might think I know about a particular topic, but then discover that there was more to know about the situation that I didn't previously know. Yeah, exactly. It's always like, I feel like a lot of it's a distraction, and it's like this whole stuff about war. It's like, well, it's like, for example, what is the reason why they're doing it in the first place, and is it all just a big smoke and mirrors thing? You've got the whole Epstein file stuff. There's all these different things going on, and you just don't know like what's really going on behind the scenes and stuff. I'm not even angry. I'm fine. I don't even know what you're talking about, but yeah, I've been fine lately actually. Not even been getting angry lately. I've just kind of been fine. Anyway. Oh really, Lil? Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually alright today. Been fine lately. Yeah, usually nowadays if I start getting a bit worked up, then I'll just kind of come off the live or something, because it's just not even worth it. Hello, Avner. How you doing? I hope you're well today. It's funny how we all think we're deep thinkers, yet we're all just remixing the same media feed. We talk about autonomous mind while our ideas are being synced by the same algorithms. Well, there is that. Hello, Maz Khan. So how would you suggest that we kind of go beyond that then? Is it possible even? Thank you for the gift, everybody, but yeah, bottle of water. Is it possible to have independent thoughts even? Oh yeah, the 9/11 thing. Yeah. Anyway, so like, is it possible to have an original thought? Or is every thought just being kind of manufactured from external influences? You could say that the only thing that's original about it is just how it's put together. It's like when you make a song that's never been done before, like you're not using an original bunch of notes, but you're composing it in a way that's original, you could argue, but then how would we even know that that's original? Because maybe somewhere else in the universe it's already been done. Thank you for the follow, Senator. I say there's nothing new under the sun, eh? Bernadette, thank you. How would we even know? Do you have any podcasts or books to recommend? Not particularly, but I mean, I suppose if someone wants to, get into like the mind and try and improve someone's self-image, then there's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics on that. What's the 9/11 plan? Okay, the hell's going on here? Let's get rid of that. Perfect. Hello, Chi Upton. Okay. Okay. What is going on here? Give me a break. I just kind of feel like I'm losing brain cells every time I come on here, really, but there's some good comments and stuff, but it's just half the comments feel like are just a bunch of brain rot. Oh yeah, tentacles. Oh yeah, I've heard that one before. What's that? Yeah, 6/7's just kind of stupid to me. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I just thought it would have died out by now. I was wondering, there's got to be something soon that's going to replace it, right? Like you'd think that there'd be a new thing. Oh, thank you, Bernadette. Oh, nice one. Thank you very much. So like, I go into my troll mode if someone doesn't talk about something serious. Well, why not just let them just kind of leave them be, you know? If they don't want to talk about something serious, just leave them be, you know? Leave people be. Live and let live is what I say. If they want to just do that, then leave them to it, you know? World War III is starting. I mean, so be it, you know? So I'm kind of rise above all that kind of shit, you know? I'm like, I don't even care anymore. It's like whatever's going to happen will happen. But I'm not going to live my life in fear. It's not worth it. Why would I put all my attention into that? There's nothing that I'm going to do to stop it. I don't have the power to be able to stop any of that. Hello, Ramsey. I'm 30 years old, Tori. No, I don't have any pets, no. No, I just, so why would I bother put my attention to all the negative stuff, just filling myself with fear? It's like there's always these threats of World War III coming, but I'm just kind of sick of hearing about it, to be honest. No, I'm not really bothered about all that, because ain't nobody got time for all that, you know. Going into PhD, it's a lot, for a start, it's a lot of money to do that, and it's a lot of time to invest, you know. Hello, Expressing Simona, how you doing? Hope you're well today. Hello, Rowdy. World War IV. Oh, God. Yeah. World War IV. 2026, the end, oh really? Well, we'll see, won't we, you know? There's always these doomsday predictions, isn't there, you know? And then there's always been war and all these different things throughout history, but it's like, people are, oh, we're coming to the end, we're in end times. It's like, come on. I've been hearing about that for a long time, you know? Hello, Janica, thank you for the follow. Like in, say, World War II, they thought that was end times, you know? It's like, hello, Harpoon, how you doing? Fine, it's not the first time. What, you're on about the whole thing about end of the world and all that kind of crap, you know? Oh, thank you, T. Upton. Okay, Rowdy. But yeah. Oh, yeah. I hope everyone's having a good day today. Welcome to my live. Keep the chat flowing. Just going to be on a few more minutes and then I'm going to wrap it up, I think. Oh, hello, Nathan. Good to see you. How you doing? Hello, Becca. How are you doing today? What's this? Adele Moser. Hey, maybe now you have an idea why I started talking about why are there only weirdos around. Yeah. Someone just told me everything is just fine. What do you mean? Tretch, thank you for the follow. How are you today? Are you an atheist, are you? Yeah. Hello, Rise Edit. Hello, Frederick. How you doing? I just feel like the whole atheist and theist thing is kind of like a loaded question, maybe, and that it puts you into a box of like you're either one or the other, or you're an agnostic is the other option. But it's like it's this whole thing of like, well, what do we define as God? Because different people have different interpretations. Like, for example, you've got the Abrahamic interpretations, but then you've also got like the Spinoza God, or you've got like this idea like of the Buddhist version where like everything's all one and all that kind of thing. It's like everyone has their own interpretation. So we would have to sort of start off by defining God first. Oh yeah, what religion would it be then? Yeah. We'd have to get enough members, otherwise it would just be considered like a cult, wouldn't it? Because someone was saying that it has to get to a certain size before it gets deemed as a religion or something. Hello, Chris Molina. Thank you for hot me back. How have you been? So I'm thinking about trying to ride on that new bike that I got. Because I tried it out earlier and I've started to get the hang of it a bit. Can be creative. Oh yeah, could be. But because I want to try and ride it properly. Maybe I could go on adventures with it. Because the thing is, if I've got some really weird bike, then maybe that's a way of standing out. Because I know I made a video where I talked about how do I stand out in a saturated, sort of content. Maybe that's it then. Maybe because I've got some weird ass bike that hardly anybody has. Thank you for following Melcent. Yeah, top of the morning to you, Stephen. Just scroll down your channel. What's your channel about? We like to talk philosophy and things like that. We have kind of different topics around that, but we also talk on self-development as well and other topics as well. So it's pretty open, but yeah, it's a bike that you can pedal with both your arms and legs. That might sound weird, but I thought I'd try it. I thought I'd be one of the first people to try it out because maybe that's something that can, I don't know, maybe there's some use for it because the idea it's like more of a balanced workout rather than it just being legs. Because that's the thing, yeah, you do use your upper body a little bit on a bike, but it's like, it's mostly just your lower body that you're using. That totally sounds weird. Yeah, I know, but it's like, thank you for follow, Pamarati. Yeah. Good afternoon. Okay, well, let's just go in and, you're just kind of like the two-faced kind of people that, what's this, accent was brilliant, but we never say top of the morning to you, American bullshit. That accent was pretty good, mate. Yeah, that's the thing, there's like, top of the morning to you. Yeah, it's like there's a few things like, it's like when Americans say, have a nice day! I hope you're having a dope-ass day today. Yeah, I'm having an awesome day today. I'm gonna ride my bike into the next town to watch the new Elvis documentary epic later. Oh, cool, Chris. Have a good one. Yeah. Alright, any more questions before we go? Keep the chat flowing a bit, yeah. I don't know, it's just one of those things that I don't, there's nothing I can do about the audio in here, unless I come a bit closer to it or something, but 6 mile ride each way, oh cool, yeah. Hello, Master. I used to go on like long rides, like 30 miles or so, sometimes. Yeah. What's that? Doujing. What's that about? Maybe I'll have to look into that. What time is it there? It's 9 a.m. here. It's 2 p.m. here. Ruth Lazar, thank you for the follow. Nice to meet you. How are you doing today? Hope all is well. Tomorrow will be a great rival for India, New Zealand, for the T20 Cricket World Cup. Who will win? By the way, I don't know. I don't do any of that. Or philosophy. Oh yeah, if you looked into absurdism, super foggy outside here. Yeah, it's just dull and cloudy here at the moment. So yeah. How you doing, Ruth Lazar? Hope you're well today. Stu Pat says you put. Okay, well, I'll just like what were you saying? I don't know what you were saying about. I don't know, but whatever. Anyway, some people have confidence issues for real. For instance, I used to be proud of my. What's that? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about Doujing or something? What are you saying? Okay, goodbye. What you mean? What are you saying? I don't know what's going on here. I live in the woods, I'm like ninja. Oh, really, Sarah? Oh, cool. Are you like a wild camper or something? Some people literally live in the woods. There was a channel called Log Hoppers or something. There was this guy called Nomad Salmon, and they just kind of move around like the woods and stuff, just roaming around and stuff. It's just, yeah, like living in a tent or something. A little Bayush. Like, it shouldn't really come to that, really, should it? So I was watching a video the other day talking about this, why is it that people have to pay to, like, stay on land or something? Like, I mean, like, it used to just be all part of nature, and, like, animals, they don't pay to inhabit land, do they? Oh, Jessica. Oh, really? Huh. Hello, oh, that's Smiley. Hello, Justin, Samuel, hope you're well. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, share the live, follow if you're new. Anyway, so, yeah, it's like, why would this need to be, I look tired, do I, really? So be it. Anyway, yeah, like, why is there a need for even things like buying food, for example, if we just had more local food growing, community food projects and things, instead of having to rely on a shop that takes most of the profit. I don't know, it's all apparently prison is free, you get a roof and 3 meals a day and access to hot water, healthcare. Well, that's it, isn't it, you know? Yeah, it's just really backwards, isn't it, you know, this whole system that it sometimes, in some cases, treats prisoners better than some of the people who worked hard for the system, where they just, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hello, living natty. How you doing? Is that like bodybuilding, meaning like natural bodybuilding, or does it just mean living naturally, or what do you mean by that? Instead of complaining, do better. I mean, it's just that people need to kind of, acknowledge that there is problems, though, you know? If we all just accept things for what they are, then nothing's ever going to change. But you could say that contradicts what you said, that we shouldn't focus on what we can't control, but maybe that's the thing, right? If we all thought like that, then thank you for follow, Amol, thank you for follow dinner. But it's like, what I'm saying is, why would, health and fitness, cool, you're into that as well. Depends what you want from life and how determined you are to get it. I mean, there is that, I suppose. Just thank you for following, Josh. Just been having thoughts about like, why is it that anyone does what they do? Like, why do they work all day so that they can, like buy a car that they use to drive to work, to pay for a home that stays vacant most of the day? Well, that's good for you, Matt. It's just, I think the system, like this whole like thing of like people having to do that just to get by. Travel for a living, what do you mean? How do you travel for a living? I suppose if you're doing like, but this whole thing of like, shouldn't everything just, well, most things just be free? Like, it's, hello, you say, thank you for, I mean, if we could just build a shelter, or if we could just, thank you for following me, mate. But it's like, there's restrictions on that. Oh, you need to buy land. It's like, well, why should I need to do that? I mean, why shouldn't everyone just get a little bit of land that they can just have a right to do with themselves? Like, as in, I'm obviously not, it's not for everybody. Some people need to actually have their own space and blah, 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 but it's like, even food, like I said, like, more fruit trees, more vegetable patches, that could help with, making people less dependent on the system, but it seems like the system doesn't want that. I can't even buy a house because I don't have legal residency, but I'm never home. Well, there is that. Yeah, like if you're just on the go or something, but I'm, looking into like, like bike camping, which could be an idea for some people. It's not for everybody, but like, basically just attaching a camper to your bike, one that you can just sleep in, and you can take your stuff in, yeah, like, you could just park it up wherever, in the woods, in a field, wherever, and you just sleep there for the night. You'd be taking your home with you. So in a sense, you own your own home, but it's like a very small one. You kind of be like a snail carrying your home with you. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? That a snail literally carries its home with them. Same, isn't it, with like a turtle as well, or a tortoise. I don't go to church now. You want free chit. I'm saying that certain things should be free to begin with. I'm not saying everything should be free. I'm saying that the system should provide it for free because it would have always been free. And obviously you could say that, well, it's technically not free because, well, someone had to plant the trees. But this idea that once it's already been set up, then it doesn't require a lot of work to maintain it. And a lot of these workers on these fields are just being exploited for like their value, like where they're getting paid fuck all in a lot of cases, and yeah. Thank you for follow, Henny. But the companies that are making all these heaps of profit. Yeah, I do know how to ride a bike. Yeah. In fact, I've gotten a bike that you can ride with both your arms and legs. I've just started being able to ride it like that. So, hello, Mal. So I'm not gonna go on like long rides yet with it, but I want to try and just get confident with it. Really. Apparently, there's 40 people on TikTok. I don't know how, but hello, Geneva. How you doing? Hello, Insecure but Enjoy. Mal143. Thank you for the likes. What fruit trees can grow in the UK? There are some wild mulberry trees in the area where I live, but they only fruit for about 2 or 3 weeks out of the year. Well, this is where you would have like, like things like plums and stuff like that, where you would sort of, maintain some for like the winter, but there's also vegetables that we could grow, like we could have community vegetable patches growing potatoes, carrots, and whatever other varieties. I think that I'm not saying we could live entirely off that, but it would help, wouldn't it? It's yeah. But yeah, things like apples. I mean, oranges not so much. I mean, I think there's certain varieties of oranges that can grow. But yeah, berries are a good one. But yeah, it is right that they don't have a long thing, but there's some seasonal ones that grow. Maybe we're supposed to eat more seasonally rather than, yeah, hello, Uncle Sal. Yeah, there are peach tree farms where I live, but no wild peach trees. Yeah. I suppose that's the thing, that sometimes they need certain conditions. I don't know, but I'm just saying that, or really, because you're a, I'm just saying that, maybe we could do better. More apple trees, more, I mean, they have a bit of a longer season, I think, but yeah, more pear trees. But yeah, more vegetables, I think, that sort of stuff. But some of them you could always, like, preserve them for winter as well if you have enough of it. If you have a lot of, we're too reliant on modern things to go back to cavemen. Well, there is that. I'm just saying that, like, too much reliance on modernity might be the problem. You can only grow what your soil allows you. I mean, yeah, but we've got to try and kind of, what's that? We could have berry bushes along every single B road in Britain, and we'd be good. But you could say, well, the problem with that is pollution. But yeah, B roads wouldn't be too bad. Is that why you're saying B road? Because A roads have just had too much pollution, and yeah, because that might be the benefit, where if we do start going more towards like less cars and more electric cars, that could be an argument for like why that might be better. Because like if we have not just electric cars but electric vehicles in general, I've even started to see like electric bike hybrid cars and all sorts of new ideas. We might start to see more of that come out soon, where it kind of like doesn't require so much. They can be inconvenient, but there's new designs coming out that could even be partially run on solar power. We've got to look at like different possibilities. I even saw a bike that could be run on wind power. So there are like innovative designs and stuff that are coming out. It's not all just about like running it off some friggin' power, whatever you call it, like the plug-in kind of shit. At least not completely, and you don't have to completely run off that. You can dehydrate fruits so they last longer. That's what I mean, like you can preserve them, you can make like prunes and stuff like that, or you can do them with damsons as well and all sorts of stuff. We have a lot of damsons and plums growing here where I live. Yeah. But what I'm saying is all this petrol and stuff is not good for the air, is it? So, I'm not one of these climate alarmist people, but I don't think that this petrol is really good for the atmosphere. I've heard that stuff can like worsen like COPD and stuff like that, so it doesn't matter, it's good for my lifestyle, but then convenience can be a trap and can actually have unintended consequences, so, and that's a kind of selfish kind of way of thinking as well. We have to look at like what is beneficial overall, and yeah. But if I mean, people talk about China, but then it's like we are the ones that are relying on China. So it's like we are the ones to blame, really. It's like people want to say, oh, it's China what's causing all of it, but we are like outsourcing from China. I mean, And I'm just saying that, like, that what I'm saying is that we shouldn't have to do anything apart from just basic survival. Eat, drink, whatever, and maybe like plant some crops or something. I mean, there's some people who do that like off grid and stuff, but favorite food. I quite like Indian food actually, Joshua. But who's we? What do you mean? Ford Car Company used to make cars that ran on alcohol, but they stopped manufacturing them once prohibition started in the United States. Oh, really? Well, it is similar because you've got like ethanol, haven't you? Yeah, ethanol isn't that the same thing as like that's alcohol? It's called ethanol. It's the fuel source. So yeah, ethanol is similar to petrol, isn't it? Would make sense, right? Yeah, yeah. You say we are outsourcing to China. I have no idea who we is. I'm talking about the UK and Western countries, as in we get so much of our products from China. And yeah, that's convenient. But then what I'm saying is that you can't complain about, China cause all of it, and then like be, buying a bunch of stuff from China. Like you could argue you are the one that is, it's a supply and demand thing, isn't it? Like you are responsible in some way, at least, anyway. A plug in China costs £1 to make a plug in the UK. It would cost £17. So I mean, yeah, but it's like maybe we've got to kind of like think about what we actually need to survive and stuff. Minimum wage in UK stops homemade products. Well, you could say a lot of it's down to the inflation of the economy. You could argue that if we didn't have a minimum wage, then maybe and this is what some people argue, that that there's some good things about having a minimum wage, but then so also some people argue that it fucks over a lot of small businesses as well. So I don't know. It's all kind of fucked, isn't it? Really. So have you actually got evidence of that £17? That's quite a big difference, a 17 times increase in price to produce in the UK. I don't know. It's but we can't really complain about it if we're, it's like, we are partly responsible. It's like we could either choose to take part in it, or we can just, we can just become cavemen. But either way, we are responsible, you could say. That wouldn't be convenient, I will give you that. Tell me how I get from one state to the next for work weekly without flying and driving. Well, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying that it's your responsibility for choosing that in the first place. If you want to like do that job, then that's your responsibility. That if you want to be, if you are okay with being responsible for pumping out petrol into the atmosphere, then that's on you, isn't it? We can complain. Complaining is the first step, but how do we go from complaining to making action? Making it actionable is the thing, I suppose. I'm cool with that. Like, I mean, as long as you're cool with that, then I can produce in Germany at €2,000. In Holland, it costs €690. well, there's that whole thing of like, I think was it in Belgium or something, where they were like, it's like kind of, it's like bootlegging, whatever they call it, where they go and get like the cheap tobacco and stuff. I remember, where it's way cheaper, and then bring it back into the UK or something like that. I mean, it's yeah, a cheap UK lunch. I mean, depends how cheap you want to make it. You could literally just make yourself some really cheap sandwiches and something like that, just something really basic. So it'd be very hard to say like exactly, but hello Queen Yvette, how you doing? What battery percentage are we on the phone now? Hang on, why can't I see it? 2%, oh shit. Yeah, the phone's gonna go off. Very healthy, isn't it? Not. Yeah, well, there is that, isn't there? Yeah, cost of living's wild. Rice is cheap. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go for like very basic kind of food, some of it can be quite cheap, like pasta, rice, noodles and stuff. Yeah, oatmeal. I eat oatmeal and I eat porridge. So yeah, so it's a good cheap option. And then fruit, bananas are like fairly cheap as well. Some of us have a physique to keep. Yeah. Tell me about it. Project, how you doing? It's hard when I'm tall as well. It's like trying to eat that much food. So, but yeah, I can get, like I have to really budget my food basically. Oh, really, Matt? Is that for real? I eat over 4,000 calories a day, so yeah. You ain't acknowledging the point I'm making, and I tried twice, and then what you're saying, speaking is good, but you said we, there is no we or us between the elites, the PTB, and the people. I get what you're saying. Thank you for following it. So I'm just saying, like, how can we actually do anything to actually make anything change? I don't know. I'm not like trying to be all kind of doom and gloom or anything. I'm just look at pragmatic solutions and what's really within our. I would argue that the best thing that you can do is be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want to see like something change systemically, then you have to first of all become it. Use less plastic. Yeah, well, I could then argue about that. That's inconvenient as well. So, but not using plastic is also an inconvenience because other plastics are more expensive and harder to find, and you would have to be. So yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? That everything's like, this convenience trap, isn't it? They make everything so convenient, so then you don't want to bother with inconvenience because the system's designed to make things hard enough to begin with, so that you don't even bother. So yeah. I mean, I work out quite a bit, and obviously being tall, it does. But I don't know if I was actually looking into how maybe high fiber diets might actually pull out some of the fat from the body, as in like pull out some of the dietary fats out. So I'm wondering if dietary fiber might actually lower the total calories on the body. So that might be something to look into, and it might actually end up, more of it might come out in the stools, if you know what I mean. Not gonna ruin the world in our lifetime, yeah. Well, there is that. Well, it's this kind of mindset of like, let the offspring deal with it kind of thing. Little V Reese. there's this whole thing of like, do we have a responsibility to do something about it now? Why should they have to deal with our mess? Because some people argue about how some people say that the boomers created the housing market problems, and then they're kind of like saying, oh, why are these people so lazy? And they won't acknowledge that they were the ones that, in some cases, not saying all boomers, but some boomers created these problems in the first place by hoarding houses, and they don't care about whether young people can afford to buy one. So it's this whole selfish mindset of like, oh well, all I care about is, increasing the value of my property. I don't care if the young people are going to be priced out of it, because as long as I have a good life, then fuck everybody else, You got to be selfish in this life. Well, there's this thing, isn't it, that everyone has self-interest, so you think about how, like, if I'm not selfish, and it's like it's this whole thing of use or be used, or something like that, or something along those lines. Play or be played, or something like that. Thank you for the likes, Joy. Give the world back to the animals. How are we going to do that? We will all have to become extinct or something, I don't know. Or we just become kind of one with the earth, kind of like live in a jungle or something. Hello, Gia. How you doing? I eat about 3,000 calories a day, and I'm only an inch shorter than you. I might eat more that when the weather gets warmer and I cycle more. Yeah, but you're a lot lighter. And aren't you, like, how much do you weigh currently? Because I'm currently about 16 stone. So also muscle burns more calories at rest than body fat. So basically, it's not 190 pounds. Didn't you like go up a bit since last time we talked? Didn't you say that it was only about 175 or something like that? If I remember, you were saying it was quite light or something, or was you saying that, or was you more saying that like that's more like what you would want to be at for your sport or something? But yeah, I used to be about 170. So I guess if you're, like, depends on your body composition. Like I said, the more muscle you carry around, then the more you're going to be burning calories at rest, because you have that afterburn. You've got the protein turnover is higher and stuff like that. So also, I don't know if it's because my brain is rapid fire. I just need more calories just for like my brain to function and whatever. So thank you for the follow, Leto. We will take ourselves that we love war too much as a species. Well, yeah, I don't want to like think the worst case scenarios, but yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm not really. But yeah, so what kind of weight did you gain? Is it like lean mass or just kind of body fat, or both, or like what's the like composition? Hello, unsalted banana. How are you doing today? Did we hit 10k followers yet? Yeah, we have 10k followers on TikTok, guys. Just checked it out now. Yeah. So thank you everybody, and for helping me to get to 10k. Huh. Yeah. So I'm nearly on 5k on YouTube, but yeah. I'm still not overweight though, yeah. But then there's that whole thing about the whole thing of BMI isn't the most accurate thing. If you say someone that carries a lot of muscle, because like you could be, say, someone that has more muscle but be healthier than someone who's, say, like skinny fat, who weighs less than you. Like you could, say, have a BMI of, say, 24 and be like skinny fat at, say, 25% body fat, versus a lean muscular guy who's got a BMI of 27, for example. So it's just like, it's not a black and white thing, but but it's more of a general thing. It's only really applicable to the general population rather than at the extremes. You know, like, because some people would be like at the extreme where it's like you've got the skinny fat people who would be on that kind of normal BMI because they might be very weak. Okay, unsalted. Yeah, it can be more useful to measure your waist than if it's half your height or less than you're not overweight. Is that right then? I mean, what's that like? How much does a waist? I thought that surely be way less than half, because a waist is only what, like 30 something inches. So surely, like, unless your height is like how many inches, your height would be like what? My height would be what, 76 inches or something. So that would mean that like my waist would have to be like at least 38. I think my waist, well, I usually get like 34 waist. So yeah, but sometimes you have to, with the waist, you have to like take into account like in terms of things like muscle mass again, because people with more muscle mass around their abdominal area, like especially around their like hips and stuff like that, that could also throw that up a little bit. It's not going to probably add that much, but that could also maybe have some potential factor, I don't know. But like you've got like yeah, leaner people have smaller waists. Yeah, but I'm talking about people with more muscle mass, more abdominal kind of anyway, what is it? They might have more especially if they, you know, they might have, let's say, like their top of their hips and stuff like that might be bigger or something. Even Mr. Universe will have a waist that is less than half his height. Is that right then? I mean, yeah, well, they were talking about like shoulder to waist ratio and all that kind of stuff, and that whole thing of V-taper illusion and whatever they call it, the narrow waist illusion. But my waist used to be like, at one point it was down to like 30, but I guess that was down to just having no mass. Just wondering if muscle mass would influence it. See what it says about that, really. The growth of the core muscles, abs and obliques from heavy compound lifting, increased abdominal muscle density, which is denser than fat. Developing the muscles around the waist, especially with weighted exercises, can make the midsection appear thicker. So yeah, things like the abs and the obliques and stuff. Also, I'm guessing like the lower back as well would influence it as well. Like, so yeah, if you build up those muscles, but you were saying it's probably not going to make a massive difference overall because they're relatively smaller muscles, whereas, you know, like say your arms and your legs are going to have a more bigger impact on your actual overall body. To get that like X-frame and like the Mr. Olympia, where it's like the kind of, not only the V-taper, but they also kind of have this like X shape where their lower body gets kind of what's weak-minded. What are you talking about? I thought you was all right, but you just kind of, what you're saying, like you just, I mean, have an aversion to reality and truth. and you're ignorant of your viewers and comments, lazy and weak. I mean, I thought you was being alright, but now you're just kind of trying to be like that. I mean, I'm kind of like someone who's like, I'm kind of like partly agreeing with what's being said, but also kind of, sometimes I can agree with something, but then add a caveat into it as well. Like, I don't have to agree with everything that my viewers say. I mean, I can agree with parts and then kind of add my own take into it, add my own nuance into it. Let's have a look and see whether it says about the, so what are you saying then? Like, I mean, what's your comment then? Sorry if I'm missing any comments here, but it's not doom and gloom to acknowledge truth, speak it, and act on it. There is no we or us between the elites, the PTB, and the people you want change, then be man enough to accept truth. Well, did I say that I don't accept truth? I even made a video saying I don't sugarcoat things. Like, my philosophy is change what's within your control and just forget about what you can't control. Like, all this stuff about war and shit like that, why would I want to put my energy to that? It's just negative and just keeps me in a state of fear and, you know what I mean? That's why I focus on mental and physical development, because that is something I can actually get tangible results from. Okay, well, go away then, you know. Like, I think this person's just deliberately trying to just get under my skin, so, yeah, go bye. I'll just, you know, just boot you out before you even, you know what I mean? El Noka. It's like these people just kind of, I don't know what's up with these people, you know. So I'm trying here, you know, but it's, yeah, just trying to rage bait, it seems. They try and do the whole thing of, like, acting like they're sound at first, and then they suddenly try and be all kind of like some kind of, it's almost like these pick-me kind of people where they're trying to get you to validate them or something in a sense. I don't know what it is, but hello, the stats, good to see you. Yeah, no, it's just, it is what it is. It's like they're just trying to get attention, basically, it seems what they're trying to do. It's just like, they're almost like these pick-me's just trying to get attention. Anyway, how you doing, Emily? I hope you're well. I'll only be on for about another 5 minutes, guys, but we talk all sorts of stuff, philosophy, spirituality, and all sorts of things, but we've been talking about some other things. Yeah, attention seekers, yeah. They're talking about, like, you know, waist circumference and other things like that, and how that can be a signal for, like, obesity and or just overweight. But it's not overweight, but rather just that could be a measurement for, like, but I remember, isn't there a thing in Japan where they actually, something like, have they banned obesity or something like that? I remember there's a very small percentage of, I mean, I reckon a lot of the obese people in Japan are actually sumo wrestlers. Like, that probably accounts for, like, I wonder how much of that accounts for that, because it seems like the general population is quite skinny, actually, in Japan. Like, they're usually quite on the skinny side. So that could be one of the reasons why they tend to live longer than average. I'm alright, thank you. How are you doing? So, yeah. I had to go, you know that bike that I got, I tried it out before and I've just started being able to ride it. So, like, as in with the, using the arms and the legs. So yeah, I finally just kind of got the hang of that. So that's good. I think a lot of it was mental, actually. Sometimes it can be mental because it's like, sometimes we can mentally kind of like overthink it. So sometimes that can be limiting, but yeah, what's this? Yeah, low carb bucks aren't big in Japan. They'd laugh at people who tell them rice makes them fat. Yeah, I mean, because if it was really the case, then why aren't Japanese and Chinese people like all obese, you know? It just sounds a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Wasn't there even a thing called a rice diet? And I don't know how true this is, but they had rice and fruit juice and stuff like that, and they actually apparently, I don't know how true this is, but reverse type 2 diabetes or something. Like, these are the foods that they say that are the worst for diabetes. Now, I'm not saying you should have loads of white rice and fruit juice, but maybe there's more to it than just eating a bunch of sugar, is what it suggests. I don't know. Like, a lot of it is metabolic health related in terms of like, you know, if you're living a sedentary lifestyle and you're not burning off all the calories that you're consuming, then another attention seeker. I mean, it's not about attention seeking itself being bad, but it's the thing that people do to get attention, you know? Apparently we got 55 people on TikTok. I don't know how that's even possible because there's like literally like nobody in chat, so I don't know if it's just bots or something. Maybe I'd have to ask Becca about this, but maybe there's just a bunch of people watching in the background or something, but it does seem a bit odd. It's saying there's 56 people apparently in this live stream right now. Yeah, I don't know how that's even happening. Mal143, thank you for the likes. But yeah, so waist circumference could be possibly a better indicator, but nothing's perfect. Another indicator would be visceral fat, I would argue, is probably the best indication if you can find out what your visceral fat is, because someone could have a lot of subcutaneous fat, but the most important thing is the fat that's around your organs. Like that, if there's a lot of that, that is not good. So, yeah. Anyway. Hope you're all having a good day, everybody. We'll be getting off in a couple of minutes. Yeah, any more questions? Who is actually watching on TikTok? How is it saying there's 55 people watching? Like, who are these people? Is it bots? I have to ask Becca about that, see what she says. She might know more about that, but then she might just kind of, yeah, tell me that it's just like real people watching. I don't know, it's just odd. You would think that there'd be a bunch of people in the chat if I have 57 people watching. Like, come on guys, like, who are all these people? Say something if you watch, I mean, you know? It's like, let's have 9 people on YouTube, but there's more people chatting on there. But why aren't you American? Because I wasn't born there. It shows how many people are also watching on the For You page. But why aren't they coming into the chat then? I don't know. I find it a bit odd how there could be so many people watching in total when it's like none of them hardly even chat. Maybe that's just a thing with TikTok, I don't know. Do most of them just watch idly or something? I don't know. Maybe they're just watching in the background. It just feels like there's a lot of bots on here or something. This is a bit strange, I find, but yeah. But, you know, if there is 50 odd people, then cool, you know, more the merrier. But even if they are just kind of watching in the background, if they're getting something out of this, then cool. Anyway, yeah, that weird was always just being negative and all that, so whatever. I'm not going to listen to anything you say because you just come in the chat and just be a dick, so why would I even listen to you now? Yeah, that's always happens. I get loads of people's lies and no one talks to me. Yeah, but yeah, I'm on YouTube and there's even like, yeah, you even get more comments on there even though there can be a lot less people watching. So I don't know how this is even happening, but it's a bit odd to me really. 54 people apparently. Maybe someone else can come in and say something, I don't know, but it's up to you guys. Maybe we're all just doing housework or something, I don't know. Are you from the USA, brother? No, I'm from the UK. Yeah. Anyway, it's nice to meet you all anyway. But yeah, we hit 10k followers on TikTok apparently. Yeah. Anyway, so any more questions? Let's have a quick drink. Yeah. How common is the last name Brown in England? Pretty common, I think. Yeah, it's quite common in Scotland as well, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of people with Brown as a surname. It's probably one of the most common names, I'm guessing. Is it common over in the States then or not? You have like quite a mix of different names, like from Germany, you have names from like Poland, names from like Italy, Spain, France, all sorts of places, so yeah. I don't know about that, Mate. I don't know. My grandfather was born in England and his last name is Brown. Oh yeah, well, that makes sense. Maybe we're distantly related, who knows? That'd be mad, that, wouldn't it? Yeah. You get all that ancestry stuff. It's like, how do they actually know, like, where someone's DNA comes from exactly? I mean, how can they actually tell just by, I don't know, I find all that a bit kind of like, it's like, for example, like, you've got, say, a country with, like, say, like, certain borders, let's say, that surely the people that are quite close to, like, a border of, say, like, a country, let's say, for example, you know, like, two different countries that are quite close together, like, they're literally, they would have the same kind of genetics, right? How would you be able to tell if that person's DNA comes from one country or the other? Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Hello, British girl. That's the thing, you have having your DNA put into a database. Because I've heard about that with all this, like, 23andMe and all that shit. But, like, how would it distinguish, like, how do ancestry DNA tests tell one country from another country? Comparing your DNA against a reference panel of samples from individuals with deep verified roots in specific localized areas. I mean, but are they really that accurate in terms of, wouldn't they have very similar, like, let's say, for example, like Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland or something, or let's say someone lives near the border of Scotland, wouldn't they have very similar DNA to the person that's just above the border? I mean, how would it really be able to distinguish that? Is it really that accurate? I don't know how it would even work. But, yeah, some people say it's a scam, I don't know, but it's just very high functioning. What do you mean? Is it really that accurate? That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's just some about reference panels or something, but then algorithms aren't always accurate. Let's see what the accuracy is of it. People migrate, don't they? Yeah, it all gets mixed up, doesn't it? So how would you be able to tell where they originated from based on, their DNA or something? Like, where the exact origins are from, but I suppose that would be classed as high functioning, but why? A lot of Iron Man potential. It's accurate but not exact. I mean, yeah. See what it says about accuracy of it. 99% it says. Like approximations and stuff, but like, for example, you could be like, let's say you had DNA from, like, say, the border of a country. Well, what if that border's changed over time? Would it even account for that or something? I'm just wondering, like, let's say, for example, the German border moved or something. Like, at one time, parts of Germany used to be like Prussia or something. Like, was it the Berlin Wall or something like that? It's like, does it account for that kind of stuff? That historical border changes and stuff. I'm not, obviously I might sound a bit ignorant here, but I'm just like, what's AKC? I don't know about that, but oh really, DJ? Well, if that's what you think, then goodbye. I have Irish, English, French, Canadian, German ancestry, and I live in the United States. Oh yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. A lot of Americans have like mix of European ancestry. So you believe in science theories when it comes to things you can't actually prove, but when it's something as easy as DNA, which can be observed, you struggle. Very interesting. Well, I'm just saying that, like, how does it know that, and that where you're from exactly? I mean, it all just seems like an estimated guess or something, or educated guess. I mean, that's what I would kind of get from it. But oh really, DJ? Well, why don't you just move on then? So like, does it account for border changes? It says it doesn't account for border changes such as customs duties or import taxes, but directly. Hang on a sec. I was in. It's saying about, what is it? In terms of geographical border change or something. It's like, if you disagree with something I say, then just kind of explain your point of view instead of trying to just rage bait. You know what I mean? So it does account for historical and geographical population shifts over the past 500 to 1,000 plus years. Genetic regions are determined by comparing your DNA to reference panels of people with long-standing family history in specific areas, which often span across borders that have changed over time. Well, it says here limitations, something about because DNA is compared to present-day reference populations, it can be difficult to distinguish between closely related groups, such as Danish and Swedish, so different regions within a country. Furthermore, if ancestry lacks data for a specific area, it may misidentify it as a neighboring region. This is what I'm fucking saying, guys. Hello, Fiery. So you can't take it as 100% is what I'm saying. Yeah, it might be a good guess, but like, genocide. What are you on about? Come on, Iron Man. Are you for real or something? Oh, goodness. Apparently I'm just bored, am I? Yeah. Oh, really? Whatever. So like I said, you know, it can be hard to know exactly where it's from because, like it was talking about, distinguishing between close related groups like Danish or Swedish, for example. Yes, I'm real commie. I'm a commie, am I? Huh. Hello, guacamole. Yeah. Say whatever you want. I don't even care. Like, just call me whatever you want, you know? Alright, it's nearly 3 p.m, so I've got stuff to do, so we'll be back on later. Alright, take care everybody. Have a good day.